All right, hey guys, it's uh, June 8th at 4:45, and I'm just gonna do a quick update here. Um, so this is Bitcoin on the 12-hour. I do have a log, this in log scale right now. I'm just putting this pitchfork on. Um, I had this on there before, and I don't know why I didn't keep it on. I really should have. Um, but I think I'll leave it on here now, moving forward. So let me zoom in here. So this this 12-hour candle is going to be very nice depending on where it closes and how it closes. Even if it closes like this, I would still be, you know, it's a pretty nice candle close. And the main thing that I'm trying to keep in my brain right now is we are between the 50 and the 618. That's where price is right now. No matter how it looks, just from a sheer probability standpoint, this is a really high probability area for retracements to end and for a new trend to start. It absolutely doesn't mean that price can't come lower, even test this 786, come down and test this. Like, honestly, nothing would surprise me. All I'm saying is I think it's a good idea to be looking for trades in the market and in Bitcoin when we're in this area. Now, I'm going to zoom in now. Maybe go to a half hour. Yeah. This structure, though, in my opinion, has completely broken down. We have a good, that's that log channel that I showed you. It's bouncing kind of off this median line, and you can even see it come up and test the 50 of this pivot and the median line. So getting some stiff resistance there. Um, So I know that I have good pitchforks in both directions. You can see a bounce off this channel wall, obvious, hovering around this median line. So I like the pitchforks that I'm using. Um, and I'll continue to use these until price is clearly breaking out of one. Um, I, just to give an update to myself, I have about 35% of my account in at this point. I didn't take any new entries on this drop down. I just have tight stops across the board on some of these positions, and I just didn't get stopped out on these positions completely, or what have you. Um, so I'm still in the market, and I think I'll leave that in just in case Bitcoin does decide to make a run here. And again, I will tighten my stop on all, my stop was below this, didn't get stop out. I think I'll even tighten it up even more, because I really don't have a ton of faith right now in Bitcoin, only because I think it's going to go lower. And some of the factors that are leading me to think that is, well, one, this again was just an ABC. Did we take out this low? Yeah, we did. So this was, or this was just a 1-2, and now we're just putting in a third way, something like that. This was a clear ABC. Maybe this was a double. Honestly, I don't know. And this is where I don't really like Elliott, is it gets really complex. The point is none of this is impulsive. This was all corrective behavior. Um, and not holding golden zones, not holding the fibs, and so now we've had a breakdown, obviously, of this fib, of all these potential impulses. And now what I'm seeing is kind of a nice. Here's a 5-wave structure, perfect Elliott. 4 doesn't overlap the 1. Third wave's probably the longest. Doesn't need to be in this case. Obviously, the 1 is the shortest, but it looks like it's probably the longest. A nice little ABC correction here. And then we look like we're putting in another 5-wave structure just finished. Boop. So what that kind of does for me is, 1, 2, 3, maybe a 4, and then a 5. Now, problem with that is the 1 longer than the 3? Let's see how close it is. Yeah, okay, we're fine. So the third wave is at least longer than the 1. So if this 5 ends up being the longest wave, that's still okay. Maybe, perhaps it's a ending diagonal or one of the expanding fifths. As long as it's in a fifth wave, I think you get some leeway on some of these rules. But now really the eyes are, how high does this 4 go? This potential 4, because again, this could just be maybe this is just some wonky, ABC, finishing down here, and now this is the low. This is the end of this mini bear market. Those are always competing thoughts in my head, but what looks the most reasonable, the most probable is, and this also looks, anyway, I don't want to go into that. The most probable thing I think is that I'm trying to count 5-wave structures down, and it looks like there is, and so I'm thinking that we're at least going to finish this 5-wave structure. I think it's going to be a 5-wave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And the beauty of this is if you take the length of the 1 and put it from the potential 2, and let's see, how did I do this? Sometimes it's easier just to do it in reflex. Yeah. Length of the 1 from the tip of the 3. You get 100% down here. I think there's also, you might need to take it from the 4. Let me double check this. Sorry, I'm looking at some cheat sheets over here. Yeah, so it is from the length of the 4. So I'm measuring the length of the 1, and I'm putting it on a potential where if this 4 ends here, here's 100%. So usually the 5th wave is 100% of the 1. There's all different kinds of ratios, but if that works, 3, 4, 5, the 1272 and the 1618 are all potentials in relationship of a 1. So yeah, that's kind of the play that I'm thinking, and it all depends now. Is kind of all eyes on this. And I even like going down to a smaller time frame, even a 3-minute. And the only reason here is I'm just laser focused on what this structure looks like, where it's pivoting off of. If we break this golden zone and then come into the territory of the wave 1, then I will be changing my tune. But for now, from this swing up here, all we're doing is hitting the 50. And I am short term, will continue to be bearish here now. I think my video last night was kind of suggesting that, yeah, I think that, we're going lower. And I got stopped out on a lot of stuff. And it, it hurts. It sucks. I'm definitely feeling a little, maybe exhausted is the right word. I'm just sick of losing trades. Oops, let's get that on there. And that happens. And sometimes what that means is you got to take a break. I was aggressive on this area. I was pretty bullish on crypto in general and a lot of these other positions. But it just kind of looks like we had more to go. So, hindsight, yeah, definitely was too aggressive during this time, hoping for, a better reaction, and we just didn't get it. If I were to play it differently, I think I would have, let's see, if I go to a 4-hour, up here should have been the main warning when we started closing below these moving averages. That should have been my first, and obviously this fib didn't hold. That kind of should have been I wasn't trading here, I was out of town here. This kind of should have been my first warning sign of pull everything out, just wait to see where we go. Because when crypto corrects, it corrects pretty violently. I mean, it just, it's just volatile. I mean, look at look at this. There's no reason that shouldn't happen over here. So that's just kind of a note to self of how I would have played it differently in hindsight. But for now, I think that I have two really good pitchforks on here that will allow me to identify good trade opportunities for the next at least couple months, um, especially with the log channel. This channel might last till the end of June at least minimum. Um, maybe get into July a little bit. So we'll see. But right now, I have two good channels. Have a very decent target in mind. Let's see if I even take this. If we get that algo target, yeah, it gets that a little deep. No, but maybe from here. This one was reasonable. I think this is the one I was pulling. Yeah, where it came up to that 50. Yeah, that's a good one. You get a more reasonable algo target down here. If I find good areas of confluence down here, especially along maybe this channel wall, and depending on when we roll over, if we do, where's this log channel going to exist? Definitely a trade along this channel wall would be good, especially considering that it had some impact up here. But as you can see, it's not like exact. I mean, there's some bounces off there, but it's definitely a range. You kind of have to draw these as an area. So depending on where we get, but if Bitcoin breaks this golden zone, if it does like come down here and test that, I mean, I'm more interested in buying here, not really buying between the 618 and the 786. So I don't think I'll be taking big swings here. And why I say swings is, I mean, I'll buy Bitcoin here and I will look at stronger coins and see where they are respectively. For example, ADA, if Bitcoin is going to go down there, it's again, I did this last night, but yeah, about 25% dip, 25%, again, we're in that area where it's interested, you want to be interested in being a buyer is, somewhere down here. And to me, this is just a no-brainer, A, B, C. So I'm looking for, A, B. That's kind of what this looks like. Maybe that finished in a 5. Maybe that's a wonky 5. Right there, 618 is one of the highest probabilities for a C to end in respect to the A. So A, B, and then you measure that. This is where a C could end, and that's right at the golden zone. And if Bitcoin does want to drop, 20, 30%, and that seems kind of the reasonable window, at least, unless, we're just going to completely crash. But, like Bitcoin dropping, maybe even testing this channel wall, that's a 30, 35% drop. And that's the window that I think is reasonable. I don't think we're going to do like, a 60, 70% drop. I just don't. Where was I? ADA. So, so ADA strong coin, 40% drop would be right on the golden zone. So still very interested in being a buyer down here for ADA and other equivalent coins that are maintaining their price in the right buy area. So that's kind of the strategy now, is really just a waiting game. I have an okay amount of my portfolio in, so I'm comfortable with, hey, look, if this wants to start running up here, I need the market to convince me now. I need, if I'm going to be a buyer on any potential retracement, I need to see something. Something significant, and it needs to be a 5-wave structure. For now, I just think we're just gonna come up here, maybe tool around for a little bit, and then come back down. The only reason I think we're getting this reaction is, maybe this channel wall, but also, kind of a triple bottom here. Now, is this, can this happen before? Like, yeah, you can see it. This doesn't quite explain it, but you can get these kind of bounces down here. I do remember trading this and just thinking, guys, it's got to go lower. It's got to go lower. It's hit this so many times, and it never did. I was actually thinking this was going to be a 5-wave structure. and I was hoping to be a buyer just a little bit lower. And I thought this was maybe just going to be like a 4, and then boom, something like that. And I was definitely a buyer down here. Yeah, didn't I think this was even a golden zone? Yeah, I really wasn't a buyer here. I should have been, but that just goes to show you how often you can be wrong. The point is to identify good probabilities, setups, and keep trading. It can get frustrating, when you lose multiple trades in a row. It's just kind of like flipping a coin. It's like sometimes it's tails, more than 5 times in a row. It can be tails 8 times if you flip a coin 10. Um, doesn't mean that probability isn't good. Just means that you got to take more trades, and eventually you will kind of average it out. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling a little bit here. I didn't want this to go 16 minutes. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to see how high this goes. I'm going to keep my stops tight on these positions up here. And I really do think that something down here is where I want to be interested in. So we'll see. Probably closer to 3 or 4 days, 5 days maybe. We'll see. Or today, never know. All right, see you guys.